any steering problems. From there, I'm gonna be checking my fifth wheel plate pins, make sure they're in good conditions and it's got the cutter pins in place, not missing. And then from there, I'm gonna check my release handle in the lock position right now, not cracked or broken, good conditions. And then I got my platform, not cracked or broken, properly mounted to my frame, no bolts missing. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and start checking here my bracket, not cracked or broken, properly mounted to the frame, no bolts missing. And I got my torsion bar, not cracked, broken, or missing, no bolts. Also intact, not missing. And then I got my lift spring and control arm in good conditions, not cracked, bent, or broken in any way. And from there, I'm gonna go ahead and check my axles and then make my way into the back of my coupling system. So the way I check here, I'm gonna be checking my two tires. So I'll be checking the back, the top, the front of my two tires. You gotta make sure these ones are 32 seconds sub thread. Recaps are allowed as long as the seam thread's not showing anywhere. There's no uneven wear on the top of the tires. And then there's no bumps, cuts, or abrasions on the front or on the back of my tires. And there's nothing in between my duals in good conditions. If they ask you to be specific, we're just checking, make sure there's no rocks or bottles que pueden volar to go offline. From there, I'll be checking that the tires properly seated to my rims, front and back. Make sure there's no gap in between. And then we're gonna be checking for the rims now, back and front for my two rims. Make sure there's no dents, cracks, or any illegal welds. And then from there, I'm gonna be checking for my lug nuts, make sure they're all in good conditions. They're all accounted for, not cracked, broken, or missing. And if they show rust or shiny thread around, it's an indication that they need to be readjusted or replaced by a professional. From there, my outer hub seal in good conditions, not cracked, broken, no nuts or bolts missing. Proper oil level. The way you check this one, see if they ask you guys on the back, you'll see a red cap. Let me see if I can see it into the axle, and I'll show it to you which one it is. And then from there, I'm going to be checking for my air valves for my two rims and tires. Make sure they're not cracked, broken, or missing, and free from any leaks. And my tire pressure for these tires should not be no less than 80 psi, no more than 100 psi. If they ask you to be more specific, you tell them if it's less than 80 psi, it starts doing internal damage. If it's more than 100 psi, it can be a blowout. Before I walk into here, I gotta make sure my keys are in my pocket for safety, and I gotta make sure that my wheels are shot before I go in under my trailer for safety. Because if you guys don't say that, they can fail you right there and then if you just jump in, okay?
Which wheels? Tractor wheels or the trailer?
This one's right here. All right. And from there, I'm gonna go ahead and check the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and start by checking here my coupling system again, and I'm gonna start by checking my kingpin and my shank. Make sure they're both in good conditions, not cracked or broken. And then the locking jaws are around my shank in good conditions in the lock position. And the purpose of those two is to haul my trailer. And we also gotta make sure they're properly greased at all times and properly secured. And then my fifth wheel plate has one function, it tilts. This one doesn't slide because it's a bolted fifth wheel plate. From there, I'm going to be checking here my tie rod in good conditions, not cracked in or broken, properly mounted to my axle and to my frame, no bolts missing. And I do have a lot of relay valves inside, as you can see them in my air lines, and we got to make sure there's no signs of any leaks, properly mounted to the frame. And I'm trying to look for that cap if I can see it. And now I'm going to go ahead and check my left and right airbags, properly mounted to my frame, not cracked, broken, no bolts missing, no bumps, cuts, or abrasions on them. And also my airlines are no signs of any leaks. And then from there, I'm going to be checking for my left and right side hydraulic shock absorbers, properly mounted to the frame, no bolts missing, no signs of any leaks. That means they're in good conditions. And then from there, I got my I'm gonna check my cross member here, make sure it's in conditions, not cracked or broken, no bolts missing. And I got my pinto hook in case I need to hook up my dolly for my second trailer in good conditions, properly bolted to the cross member. And I do have my reflectors, proper color red, left and right, not cracked in or broken. If they ask you guys to be more specific on these ones, they're there for the nighttime. Let's say you're driving and you don't see that your back lights happen to fail. If there's a car behind you, just as you're putting the lights, they reflect and they can know there's a vehicle in front of them.
The reflectors are one function?
One function, they just reflect. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and be checking over here For my reverse lights, left and right, proper color clear, not cracked or broken. They only have one function, and that's just to reverse. And I got my left and right side back lights in good conditions, proper color red. These ones have 4 functions, which is running, turning, 4-way flashers, and stopping. And we also gotta make sure all the wires are in good conditions, make sure they're not frayed or spliced in any way. And then from there, I'm gonna be jumping over here to my mud flaps, left and right. Not cracked or broken or missing, no bolts missing. And also, they should not be no less than more than 8 inches from the ground up. And from there, I'm gonna go ahead and check over here for my U-bolts, left and right, properly mounted to the control arm and the lift spring. Make sure there's not cracked or broken, no bolts missing. And I do have my air brake chambers, left and right, not cracked, broken, no signs of any leaks in my slack adjusters and my push rod. That's the slack adjuster and push rods. Good conditions, no pins missing. The way I check those is I shock the wheels, kissing my parking for safety, release the valves, put my safety gear, which is my glove, and I pull on the slack adjuster. If it has more than 1 inch of free play, it needs to be adjusted or replaced by a professional unless you're certified.
Even we mentioned that in the front, we have to mention in the back again?
You have to mention it again, which is very, very repetitive. And that's what gets you a lot of people, because you repeat yourself over and over and over.
Entonces you do release the valves, right, sir?
Yeah, you release them.
Release them,
yeah.
okay.
Because you will not pull those suckers. They're really hard. And the minute you release the air valves, you can push them. You can pull them. And I got my electrical outlet here. Make sure it's got the 7 pins in good conditions, not cracked or broken from any debris. And then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and check my left and right brake drum. Make sure it's in good conditions, not cracked, bent, or broken, or cracked. And it should not have no less than 1/2 material. Now for my brake lining, we gotta make sure it's in good conditions, not cracked or broken, free from any oils, as that can create a brake fire or brake failure. And we gotta make sure it should not have no less than 1/4 of material. If they ask you to be more specific, the brake drum is also known as your rotor, and the brake lining is known as your brake shoes or brake pads. And that right there, gentlemen, that's it.
That's the 5th wheel.
That's the 5th wheel and the rear axle.
The rear axle. That real asshole.